Manchester United won, Southampton won at Old Trafford, the third 1-1 draw in a row, 4 draws in the last 6. Manchest-Draw United, you could say. Thank you. Interesting game. I watched it. I wasn't doing sort of full-on analysis, but I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on Manchester United because there's so much kind of grey matter and fog around Manchester United, and they feel a bit confused. They feel a bit lost. There's just sort of the old square pegs in round holes phrases there, but it's like, it's kind of deeper than that, but they're also in the mire of it right now and confused between having so many stars and expecting so much more, which I get, but also an understanding, I think worldwide we all understand that something's clearly wrong here. Now, what do you do first? Because in terms of the style to suit the squad, I think that style can only get you so far. That's why the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacking, both inevitable and understandable in terms of it happening. What's interesting is that the performances and certainly the confidence of the entire team, if you think of last season to this season, has probably gone down even more with Ralf Rangnick in the side. And why is that? Watching the game, and I'll talk about Southampton as well, so don't worry, Southampton fans, because I thought you're a real credit to yourselves, or the club were, the players were, clearly, in what's been a really good week for the club. And what you see with Southampton is some elements that Manchester United need to undertake. And the broader thought that I have is that often you're kind of going to go, oh, Man United, you've got to be beating Southampton. The Premier League's not really like that anymore. And also the Premier League's it's not like it in terms of the fact that back in the day, they've got the best players, you all smash into each other and the best players prevail. That was kind of the way that football always went. Now it's so technical and the fine margins are so fine that a team that has less quality on the pitch and a lot of players that were at big clubs but supposedly weren't good enough are now, within a structure that works, a theme that works. I thought Glenn Hoddle made a really good point about that. Just a very clear understanding, vision and picture for those players to play. Patterns of play that they understand, that they know, that they expect. Players in areas where they expect, that they feel natural in. When they get the ball, you've already got a picture that gives you a chance. It kind of can break down that quality barrier that a team like Man United will have in terms of the stars that it's got, as opposed to a Southampton side that doesn't have that same sort of money power, I guess. And I thought that was a really interesting thing that pulled into focus in this game, because I was looking at Manchester United and, Ronaldo's on that pitch, Varane's on that pitch, Pogba's on that pitch, Bruno Fernandes is on that pitch, Rashford's on that pitch. It's crazy, right? In terms of the quality that's on there. But there's so many elements missing right now. David De Gea, I thought there is fair critique for him with the goal because that's his style, and really should he be getting beat there? I think we all know who's going to go for that corner. But broadly speaking, when we talk about De Gea, I'm not sure about De Gea's kicking for what we're looking for. If you look at the best teams, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, they've got goalkeepers that are stupidly good on the ball. And if Man United are going to be that team and be that proactive and almost kind of risky in how they play, think about Bayern Munich and how they are setting up at the moment. You have to have defenders that have that comfort. You have to have midfielders. McTominay plays in this midfield. And I'm saying all this stuff, but then I'm able to say this. That's quite possibly the best 11 you can put out if you're a Man United fan. Let me know in the comments below what you would change to that 11. How different would it be? Because Pogba's in that team, Bruno Fernandes in that team, and so on. So for it to be as lacking in terms of the control, lacking in terms of energy, lacking in terms of all the criteria that you need to be a top team, that's pretty scary for Man United fans right now. But the confusion then comes as well, is like the balance between going, how do we fix this right this second? And how do we not dilute the vision that you want long term and the theme that you want long term? Because Ralf Rangnick, that's where he is right now. And when I talk about the grey matter, that's the position that he finds himself in, where this team is playing in that 4-2-2-2. But the setup when they get the ball, McTominay's there as that single pivot. It felt like a lot of the time. Pogba a bit further up, and I thought Pogba was great in this game. Personally, I thought he helped them, and I think the fine margins of this game are there are a few headers here and there. Fraser Forster makes some big saves as well. Look, Southampton had more shots than Manchester United and could have nicked the victory as well, of course. But for Manchester United, it's one where I don't think it's as bad as it feels right now, but I also think it's pretty bad. Forgive me if I'm not saying anything and you're going around the houses here, but I think I'm trying to sort of pick up how Man United fans must be feeling right now, because you've got to be so frustrated when you see how Liverpool play, how Man City play, and with that in mind, you have an understanding and a manager who's got the understanding, or someone who will become the sporting director who's got that understanding of what is necessary here. But for whatever reason, this team is miles off it. So another question for you in the comments: what do you do? Would you revert back to type, or would you just go through this pain to get yourself to a place where you have those moments? And there were a couple of those moments in the first half. The goal, if you think of the positioning of Rashford, Sancho and Ronaldo for a goal like that, that's what you kind of want. You know, you want to be going down the side in transition, you want Ronaldo on his way, and you want Sancho up there as well. What's a problem for me is that this team is unable to have both tempo and control. It was slow, it felt disjointed, and when it is disjointed and you lose the ball, you're then in trouble in transition, and that's what happens as well. So many times Man United look exposed. It feels like there's this huge gap in exposure for those two central defenders for Man United that they're really, really struggling with. Scott McTominay is frustrating for me in that position, because this is what I mean. You want a player like Fabinho to sit there and go, yes, I can do the defensive part of it. Yes, I can be on the front foot defensively. And yes, just give me the ball if you need to give me the ball. This is what I think, the sort of scapegoating of a lot of players here comes to the fact, leads me to this road where actually they're all to blame. There's so much blame. So to just go to Harry Maguire, who, I know is struggling and is lacking in confidence, as is every player in this team, but just to go to one or two, you're not seeing the whole picture in my eyes, because they're all lacking one element each. And the pain of this will come from the fact that you need to go philosophy and understanding of that first, and then bring the pieces together. But you're already so far down a road where you thought you'd already done that with this sort of reboot and reset and all that stuff. But you now see the way that football is right now. It has to be front foot. It has to have risk. It has to have confidence. And it has to have, incredibly ingrained patterns of play. And for Man United, when they're trying to force the issue, there are moments of individual brilliance, sure. But there's that struggle. There's that those pictures aren't there for the team. And you've also got people in key positions that end up hurting and exposing other players in other positions. Pogba, I think there are moments there where he takes players out of the game. He plays beautiful passes. And I think Man United will improve, certainly with Pogba in the side. I think you saw that. I think Maguire will be more progressive. You've got someone who can receive it there. Bruno Fernandes can stay out the way a little bit more, although he was all over the pitch today. There are moments where it will come together and you'll have good games, but I think you're also going to have these frustrating games. And there's so many players there that you go, yeah, he's good at this and this and this, but he doesn't work hard enough. Or he's good and he works hard enough, but he's not good enough on the ball. He doesn't demand the ball. There's so many areas where they're lacking. And they're sort of 3/4, 80% there in terms of players that you need. And sometimes you need a plan so that you don't have to think. And so that's the question I keep coming back to for Ralf Rangnick is, I think he's taken his foot off the philosophy. And I'm not sure if that's right. Or he's ultimately not getting what he wants from the team, because the intensity is no way near there. Look, 3 games in a week is a lot, right? And of course, they've got another one next week as well, with Brighton, right? But the energy's not there, the intensity's not there, and that then comes back to the manager, because I think there's got to be these soft skills and this man management to excite and galvanise and bring together that group. The group is not together. You can see that. You can see it, you can feel it, you can read it in the press. So many different elements. That's why I want to kind of talk about that grey matter when it comes to Man United, because that's how I see it when I watch them. No doubt they're all trying, but they're not trying together. And they're lacking as well. They're lacking ingredients. It's and you need every single ingredient if you want to sort of crack that top 3, because Liverpool have it. You know, man for man, do Liverpool have better players? And I'm sure there's probably a debate there. But as a team, that Liverpool team plays with a humility that Man United don't seem to, both a humility, a tenacity and a confidence that this Man United side and squad don't seem to have in their locker at the moment. To talk about Southampton for a second, I think there's a lot of players there that were there last year, and I think what it shows is the power of injuries a lot of the time. And for Ralf Hasenhüttl to stick to his guns, stick to his philosophy, I think you're seeing the fruits of that this year. Hopefully they can stick with what they're doing. I think the recruitment has been smart. Brozier, I mean, was superb again in terms of leading the line. He's got a really exciting career for himself. But again, that energy and underdog spirit, that sort of desire is part of, you know, the seas of confidence, you know, confidence, commitment, concentration, I think is another one. And they've got that right now, and Southampton have got that, and Southampton fans should enjoy it. And it's going to be interesting to see how many of those players continue to grow with them, and then how many of those players end up getting picked off. Kyle Walker-Peters, I thought, was great in this game as well. Salisu is getting better week on week, and in that midfield, again, you know, Romeo just drops in to pick up the ball and then plays it out wide, and there's just that understanding and that picture there, and they should be really, really proud of the week that they've had. I guess the final question is, Hasenhüttl, you know, in terms of that philosophy, ability to stick to it, is that something that Man United would want to look at? They've got to make that decision on where do they want to go. Get your head up and look and go, that is where we're going. And between now and the end of the season, what will be, will be. But I think long term, that has to be the remit. And it'll be interesting to see if this managerial stint for Rangnick will damage his sort of ability to do that in the summer. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're still watching right now, please just do me a favour. Give me that gift, the gift of a subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. And hit the notification bell as well. I'll see you guys soon.